Have you ever noticed how quickly children picked up languages? It's not because they are better at memorizing grammar or studying for hours a day. It's just because they just speak. They just use whatever words they know to communicate. And guess what? That's exactly what you need to start doing. Have you ever found yourself understanding English perfectly when you read a book, watch a movie, but when it's time to speak, you freeze? You are not alone. Today, I'm going to break down the three main reasons why so many people can understand English but struggle to speak it fluently. Let's start with the biggest issue: the way we are taught English or any other language. Most education systems focus almost entirely on passive skills. Passive skills are activities where you receive information without really creating anything new. Think about it. In school, we spend countless hours listening to recordings, reading textbooks, memorizing vocabulary, and drilling grammar rules. And don't get me wrong, these are important, especially for building a foundation. But here's the problem: it's too much input and not enough output. Here's the thing: if you don't actually use what you have learned, you are not really learning. You can fill out worksheets and get good scores on tests, but language isn't about perfection. It's about communication. Communication requires practice, not just memorization. Many studies have shown that input based learning, like focusing on grammar rules, reading comprehensions, listening without any real speaking or writing practice, just isn't effective for language acquisition. And the emphasis on perfect grammar and getting the right answer actually sets us back. When the system pushes us to focus so much on grammar, we become obsessed with forming the perfect sentences, getting the correct answers, and achieving high scores. But guess what? These obsessions stops us from practicing the very skills that we need to speak fluently because we are too scared to make mistakes. And that brings us to the second reason: lack of confidence. The way we have been taught to focus on getting everything right means we are terrified of making mistakes. We start feeling embarrassed when we get a bad score or when we say something wrong in front of others. Maybe you have experienced this yourself. Your teacher or your classmate might correct every little bit of your mistakes, or worse, laugh at you. And over time, this fear builds up. You start to overthink every word, every sentence structure, and every little bit of pronunciation. This fear and overthinking paralyzes us. We are so worried about making mistakes that we stop trying to speak altogether. And when you stop trying, your confidence goes down even further. Here's the problem: the lack of confidence becomes a barrier. It stops you from speaking because you are so focused on not getting it wrong. But language learning doesn't work that way. You have to make mistakes to improve. And if you're too scared to even try, you will never develop the confidence to speak fluently. Now, here's where it all connects. The third reason: lack of practice. Because we have spent so much time focusing on passive skills, and because we are afraid to make mistakes, we don't get enough real practice with the skills that actually matter: speaking and writing. Think about it. Passive skills like listening and reading are comfortable. When you are listening to someone else, they are doing all the work for you. You are just absorbing the information. But speaking and writing, those are active skills. You have to create sentences, organize your thoughts in a new language, and actually produce something. That's a lot harder. And if you're already lost confidence from worrying about mistakes, you naturally avoid practicing the very skills that will help you improve. Speaking and writing require effort, and if you are not confident, it feels too hard to even try. This creates a vicious cycle. The less you practice, the harder it gets to speak. You stick with the passive skills because they are easier, but without actively practicing speaking or writing, you don't develop the fluency that you need. And the cycle continues. Alright, so now that we know the three main reasons why you might struggle to speak English, let's talk about what you can actually do to change that. I have got a few simple tips that will help you to get past these barriers and start speaking with more confidence. You've heard of the advices to watch English movies, listen to music, or watch YouTube videos in English. You have done all of that. But when someone asks you a question in English, you hesitate and respond with broken words. One main reason for this is the lack of a regular environment to practice speaking. The first step is exposing yourself in English as frequent as possible. However, when living in Vietnam, this becomes quite challenging because most people around you communicating in Vietnamese. This is especially hard for those who have a busy work schedules and don't have much free time to practice speaking. However, this is not a problem for me, even though I'm just like you, living in Vietnam and my everydays are just full of schedules. I can always practice speaking English every day, anywhere, and get detailed corrections for any mistakes, and it takes me less than 30 minutes. Yes, this is entirely possible, and I'm super excited to share with you an amazing tool I've been using recently called PrepTalk. PrepTalk is an online English speaking course powered by AI from Prep. After using it, I think Prep Talk is specifically designed for final year students and working professionals, divided into three levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. This is the only course I have experienced that offers specific lessons in fields like information technology, finance, marketing, administrations, human resources. Prep Talk is a 15-minute learning journey broken down into four simple steps: listening, remembering, shadowing, and speaking. In just 3 minutes, I get to learn practical vocab and conversation patterns through these super fun videos. And if you're someone who finds studying a bit boring, don't worry. The topics in Prep Talk are 100% based on real life scenarios. So everything you learn can be immediately applied to your everyday conversations. Prep Talk has this awesome 5-minute interactive game to review everything. And it's not just simple flashcards. The exercises are varied, so you are constantly practicing. Trust me, it makes forgetting almost impossible. Shadowing with Prep AI. This is where things get really cool. They have been game changers for my pronunciations. This is how it analyzes my IPA pronunciation in such detail that it shows me exactly where I need improvement. The green letters are the sounds I got right, and the yellow ones are where I need to improve. When I click on each word, it analyzes each sound. For example, here I mispronounced this word, and the correct pronunciation would be like this. Tao. And here's the best part: virtual speaking room, or VSR. I'm telling you, it feels like you're chatting with a real friend in English every day. The topics are so diverse and realistic. You can practice anything from prepping for a first date to casual work conversations. It's all personalized. For example, I'm now at upper intermediate level. The AI adjusts the vocab and grammar to fit my ability. Not too hard, not too easy.
Haha, I'm sure we'll find some delicious dishes at Haydela. Let's see what they have. It'd be great if we could share some appetizers or snacks to balance out our meals.
How about we order everything that looks good and decide who can have the last bite? That sounds fun. Prep Talk AI not only listens but also provides comprehensive feedback and corrections for communication skills. First off, AI analyzes each syllable and guides proper pronunciation according to IPA. Then it corrects stress and intonation for a more natural speech. Additionally, AI lists grammar mistakes and offer accurate correction guidance. Oh, and if you're stuck on what to say, no worries. Instead of those awkward silences you would get in real life, the AI gives you suggestions to help you build answers and improve your English logical thinking skill. Please use the code TOP50 to get a 27% discount on the 6-month course and discount it from 1.3 million Vietnam dong to 900K and get a 600K gift set. Check the link in the descriptions box and comment section for more details. Next up, learn like kids do. Have you ever noticed how quickly children picked up languages? It's not because they are better at memorizing grammar or studying for hours a day. It's just because they just speak. Kids don't worry about making mistakes, they just use whatever words they know to communicate. And guess what? That's exactly what you need to start doing. When kids learn a language, they are not sitting around reading textbooks or obsessing over verb tenses. They are focused on using the language to express themselves, even if it's messy. You need to do the same. Focus on speaking from the very beginning. Even if you only know a few words, don't wait until you have perfected the grammar or memorized 100 vocabulary lists. Start using what you know now and build from there. Stop making it hard and boring. Now, let me be real with you. Some of you are making language learning way harder and more boring than it needs to be. How many times have you bought a grammar book, flipped through a few pages, then just given up because it's just too dull? Trust me, I have been there. And the problem is when you focus too much on grammar, it turns into a chore. Language isn't supposed to be boring or difficult, it's supposed to be fun. And you don't need to drown yourself in textbooks or memorize endless rules to speak a language. Instead of piling up grammar books, focus on fun, real world practice. Post on Instagram in English, join a conversation group, or chat with friends online. The more enjoyable and natural the learning process, the easier it becomes. It's okay to make mistakes. Finally, let's talk about the fear of mistakes because this is huge. So many people are afraid of speaking because they don't want to be judged for making mistakes or having an accent. But let me tell you something, it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, it's necessary. Here's the truth. You are learning a foreign language, and mistakes are part of the process. You might mess up a verb tense, use the wrong word, or have an accent, but that's totally normal. Me, I have always made a lot of mistakes, and I feel okay. What's more important is that you are communicating. If people can understand what you're saying, that's a success. Don't be afraid if someone corrects you or even makes fun of you. That's just part of the learning process. Be proud of your mistakes because each one brings you closer to the fluency. It's also totally fine to have an accent. Accents make you unique. The point is to communicate your ideas, not to be perfect. So, to wrap things up, here are the key takeaways. First, start speaking like kids do. Don't wait until you're perfect. Just start using the language. Second, stop making hard and boring by obsessing over grammar. Instead, focus on real world practice. That's fun. And third, be okay with making mistakes. Embrace them as a part of your journey. If you follow these tips, I promise you start feeling more confident and speaking English will become a lot easier and more enjoyable. So go out there and have fun with it. And remember, fluency comes from using the language, not from being perfect. Let me know in the comment how you plan to start practicing these tips. And don't forget to subscribe for more language learning tips. Until next time, keep speaking and keep learning. Good luck to you and see you in my next video. Bye bye.